Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Take two.
Apparently it just doesn't like it when I do two projects in one day. It's like I'm a one track pony.
Yeah. It's trying to help your work-life balance, and I do appreciate that. But...
I do respect that, but not...
Yeah.
I got other shit to do. I need you to cooperate.
I'm making money moves, okay?
I'm an entrepreneur, Audacity. I need you to get it together.
I'm girl bossing out here. Come on.
Oh, God. My biggest fear is the idea that book will just show up in some kind of, like, local library in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then I'll be cursed with a day of girl boss energy. Welcome to Into the Twilight.
Ew.
We're here.
We are.
Just bringing you a quick day-old weather report. It's sunny here.
Hey, love that.
But things are blooming, so there is unfortunately pollen, so we'll take the wins with the losses.
Yeah. Yeah. Life's all about balance, you know?
Right. I will say, off the top, I do have a question for you for Midwest questions. I saw the Farmer's Almanac weather report for this summer. It said in the Midwest specifically, it's going to be sultry. Can you explain what Midwest sultry weather is for the summer?
I don't even know what that means. That feels very...
It felt ominous.
Innuendo, yeah.
Because I didn't know that was a type of weather that you could get. It said that it was going to be warm and dry here, which I expected for the summer. Yeah. But I didn't know that was a type of weather that you could get.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar, but I guess we're going to find out firsthand. It doesn't sound great, to be honest.
It
Just
doesn't.
Off the top,
it doesn't
sound great. So I don't love that.
I guess I'm curious. Maybe you'll be able to report back to us in a couple months.
I'll do some weather reporting in the field.
of what that could possibly mean. I just am curious if, like, the Council of Farmers that were deciding what the conclusion was.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? For the Midwest, that does seem right.
Yeah.
So please let us know. How are you?
I'm here. I'm living. I'm now very afraid of whatever sultry weather is I'm going to experience in the coming months.
Don't ask me, ask the farmers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to, direct my ire to the almanac. But I want to talk about a show. All right? I want to talk about a show. Because in the last couple weeks, we have realized that we do subscribe to Netflix and we should use it. Many such cases. I'm paying fucking $20 a month, might as well fucking watch something on it.
Remember when it was $5?
God, don't even say it. I can't handle that right now. But a new show has popped up that I was recommended called The Residents. And it is a murder mystery whodunit 8-episode show set in the White House.
Okay.
And starring love of my life, Uzo Aduba.
I'm so in.
It's so fun. And it's like it's not created by Shonda Rhimes, but it's like produced by Shonda Land, so it's like it has that kind of little energy to it. And it is like a big full cast of like, essentially what happens is like they're at a state dinner with Australia, someone dies, and then Uzo Aduba, who is known as the greatest detective in the world and also has an affinity for bird watching and being very blunt and very neurodivergent coded, which I think all private detectives are to some extent.
I mean, you gotta be, right?
You gotta be, right? That just seems par for the course. Has to sort of figure out what is going on through very unconventional but entertaining methods and vehicles. And It's so fun. The cast is amazing. We have Giancarlo Esposito, my love of my life. There is a very, I wouldn't say prominent, but a very like substantial Kylie Minogue cameo in it, which is very good for me. Randall Park is in it and is amazing. And it is so fun because, like, I don't know, there's a lot of like murder mystery type things. I'm a sucker for that shit regardless. But especially like set in the White House, and it's like focused on like the staff who puts everything together, right? Like who was in charge of all these dinners, who's like all these like different, also like interpolitical dynamics of like being coworkers, right? It's very like kind of stream of consciousness. Like you're seeing a lot of different like interviews and confessionals or like different movements of things, and each episode is kind of like almost mystery of the week, because it's like we're focusing kind of on a suspect or like a group of people or whatever, and seeing and each like ensemble member kind of gets like a very thorough backstory or motivation or all these different things, and kind of seeing it play out, in addition to like Uzaduma's character's very like idiosyncratic kind of nature to this of being a detective. It's so funny. It's so, like, I was very charmed by it. It feels very like, oh, you know what's going to happen. And you're like, wait, maybe I don't. It's very, like, keeping you on your toes, but also, like, seeing a full picture of, like, all these different dynamics of White House staff, like, specifically, like, working class staff versus, like, you know, the actual people who live there in that house.
Right.
And, like, what that means is so fascinating.
Whoa, Chris Grace is in it?
Yes. Yeah. Chris Grace is there. Mm-hmm.
This cast is wild. This is all hot people.
It's incredibly, and everyone's wearing, like, really nice clothes and, like, looks very hot, and it's wonderful. I love a whodunit. I love a little mystery. I love a little, like, let's exhaust every single possibility in kind of the most egregious and silly of ways, but to get to whatever semblance of the truth there is.
I've heard great things.
Yeah, and it's, like, I think she has always been, like, a star, but I feel like she hasn't been in a lot of vehicles where she could be, like, a lead like this, and a very, like, complicated and imperfect, but also, like, lovable lead with this amount of, like, authority, which is really interesting, and, like, her pushing back on people, or, like, her, like, just being herself in all those ways is, like, so good, and I love her so much, and she fucking crushes it. It's very fun. I'm a big fan.
I have unfortunately been tempted to renew my Netflix again, which is earlier than I usually do, because I've seen a lot of people talking about Adolescence as well.
Yes, I will, as a sidebar, we just finished that last night. Highly recommend it, but it is, I would not consider a happy thing, so...
No.
It's tough, but it's well worth watching, for sure. But many a trigger warning, for sure, for that one.
Weirdly, my manager recommended it to me only because they were like, oh yeah, every episode is shot all in one take. Yeah. And then when I looked it up, I was like, sorry, so you didn't mention and
kind of the whole thing.
Kind of the whole thing about it. But it looks really good.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
So I'm just adding it to my list of when I inevitably get it.
Yeah.
Again.
When the flood happens, when you click that thing back on and you got a whole deluge of stuff. This is This would be a good palate cleanser for like the emotional stuff you will feel from the adolescents. It'd be like, what if we just had fun in the White House and like a little party, little murder mystery, little shot chaser.
Oh, bless.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here. I'm alive.
Love to hear it.
Everyone knows this about me. I'm a gamer.
You are a gamer girl.
So I have a game to recommend this week. Not for my Switch, because my Switch is truly on its last leg, and I'm not going to replace it until the new one comes out, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this is a game on my phone, and it's called Magic Sort.
Okay.
And I told myself that if I was going to put a game on my phone that was not my Sudoku app, that it needed to be also like puzzle adjacent.
Sure.
So this is a logic puzzle game, but it's pretty.
Love.
And the premise of these types of puzzles is that there's like, I don't know, like there's a couple of different bottles and they all have liquid in them, but they're all different colors and you have to put the correct color all together. But they're all fucked up. And so you have to sort them correctly and in the right order. It's like a fucking survivor puzzle, essentially.
Okay.
And it is really good for my brain because you have to do it in a sequential order. Otherwise you won't win. But it's not timed and there aren't a certain amount of turns. And that's oftentimes the thing that will get me stressed when I play puzzles. And therefore, it's not fun anymore. So it's challenging, but it's not, I don't know, it's not like raising my stress kind of thing.
Okay. I love that.
So I find that it's good. It's good for my brain. It's appropriately challenging, but it has the added benefit of being pretty, which is nice.
Yeah.
The other added benefit, this sounds like it's sponsored. Fuck, I wish it was, but it's not. Is that it's not too much dopamine. Because listen, many a year ago I had my Candy Crush time, like many folks did.
Sure.
This doesn't have that kind of pull to it, where it's not too difficult that like you have to do the mini transactions.
Yeah.
This is not like that in my experience. Where like you can still stay on the free version. I haven't needed to like buy anything on there.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I find that I'm able to play it and it be enjoyable, but it still engages my brain enough that I don't feel like I'm not just like fucking around in there. That it's like, okay, my brain got a workout and it's pretty, which is nice too. So
Hell yeah.
I don't feel like I need to physically pull out my Sudoku book. I can do my fun little challenges and work my brain.
I love that.
So if you want something fun and free that you don't have to actually do the microtransactions, it's a fun little game.
I love that. I love little, I feel you on the games on my phone need to be actually good for my brain and not like Balatro. I can't do that because that's not good that's conducive of bad screen time for me. I can't go down that rabbit hole.
Correct.
But I love this. I love that.
Yeah, it is for me anyways, and I'm not going to judge y'all, but for me anyways, I have to do games that are good for my brain.
Yeah.
That's not the same on my Switch. I can play fuck all on my Switch.
Right.
But on my
That's
phone,
the fun screen.
That's the I can do whatever I want on my screen. But on my phone specifically, if I'm going to have a game on there, then it needs to be something that's a logic puzzle.
Yeah.
And these are the kind that I feel like, I'm actually helping prevent dementia, which runs in my family. But it has the added benefit of it. It looks pretty, which helps.
I love that.
Want to use unlike my Sudoku app, which is literally just a white screen and black text.
Yeah.
Like it's just do this, bitch.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Hey, so we have one piece of current events here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's a little bit of a bummer, but I feel like we gotta talk about it.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I don't know what to tell y'all because we're talking about Vampire Diaries. The author of the books, L.J. Smith, passed away earlier this month. And she was young.
Yeah, very young.
This is a piece from Deadline, thanks to Caroline Frost. You have a cool-ass name, Caroline Frost, by the way.
Yeah. That sounds like a Vampire Diaries character, actually.
No, for real. Because we haven't delved into the books much. I don't know a lot. I didn't know much of anything about L.J. Smith prior to this Deadline piece. I did not know that she had a autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
On here. I also did not know prior to this that 15 years ago, Mm-hmm. She lost the rights to her books.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I think that, not only was she dropped by her publishers, but the publishers owned the rights to the Vampire Diaries series. Yeah. Which, that is, one, nasty, but I feel like it happens more than I realize with a lot of authors. Sick work. Sick work, publishers. Why do you do that? So, that's not great. I always forget. I did know this prior to starting the show, but I forget that the books originally came out in 91 and 92. That's a long time ago, folks.
That is so wild. Yeah. She's been on this.
Right. That is a while ago. I had originally found out about this earlier this week because apparently the Night World novels that she wrote were really popular with this similar audience. I did not know about those. I also did not know about The Secret Circle that was that became a television show as well.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is a lore drop. I didn't know this. What do you mean that Nina's only in this show for 6 seasons? This show runs for 8 seasons.
That's
what
tough.
Do you mean that this... Sorry, that this deadline piece is just making this information apparent to me for the first time. This television show, The Vampire Diaries, there's 3 main characters.
Right.
They make it clear in the fucking previously on every goddamn week when we watch this. Hi, I'm Elena. I'm the main character. What do you mean? Nina Dobrev is only in this for 6 seasons.
Oh,
what?
Lord.
What are we gonna do? Do we have to keep watching?
2 seasons. Yeah, can we just, white flag? I mean, if she's out, I'm out.
Do we have to just watch these fucking knuckleheads?
Oh, God.
Does it turn into Supernatural for the last 2? Because I don't remember that.
Right.
I need desperate help here. Yeah. Do we have to watch the last 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Or do we just start the originals then? Why did no one tell us this? Y'all were so eager to have us watch this show.
Oh, God.
I know that Bonnie isn't in those, so what happens?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't know that. I wish I could unlearn this information. Anyways, rip to LJ Smith.
Yeah.
I wish that you had had the rights to your books. That's nasty work.
Yeah, sick and twisted.
And all I can hope is that you pass peacefully in the night. And I hope that you do not suffer. Because that's a really young age to pass. Yeah. The episode that we're talking about today is After School Special.
Oh, gosh. And boy, was it.
And boy was it. To come back from the midwinter break to this episode is certainly something. How'd this do you?
Listen, I am so glad our girl Rebekah is back in the mix.
She's not taking shit from anyone.
Nor should she, right?
Nope.
Listen, has she done fucked up things? Sure. Is she one of the most scorned and wronged people in this entire series? Yeah. Fuck it. Fuck these losers. You know what I mean? Just... because everyone's being like, oh, I want to find the cure. And she's like, no, bitch, I want to find the cure for sure. Y'all are just pussyfooting around here because you have relationship drama. Sorry. This is a little more important. Fools. Get on their asses.
You keep saying you want the cure, but what are you doing about it? How do you...
Yeah.
What have you done to try and find it? Nothing? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it looks like you've done jack shit. You guys are useless. Oh my God.
I don't even need April to go and get these note cards to make a flowchart because you've done fuck all to find it.
Right, yeah. The flowchart is empty. There's nothing. We have nothing here.
I missed her energy coming in and just calling everyone on their bullshit.
She's so real for that. Because these fools need a shakeup, okay? Because they cannot keep going like this.
They needed the intervention.
Yes, for sure. Just lock those doors, and just get your shit together, my guys. Come on now.
It was, boy, the way that we ended last week on the on the winter finale, I was afraid that this episode was going to be a little bit more of a bummer. Don't get me wrong, this episode was sad, right? Like,
totally.
There's definitely emotion here, but I thought that it was going to be more of like a funeral episode, I guess.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I am grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that the writers treated Tyler's grief this episode was endeared me back to Tyler. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like, first of all, this being like, oh, it's a school assembly. And he's like, I don't want to be here right now. Like, I have a lot of guilt and I can't process this right now. That's my mom, you know? And him, like, naturally is like, fuck it, I'm out, you know? And then having him do that whole, like, you know, I should have done something. I should have saved her. This is all my fault. Like, all right, I see you, Tyler. I'm not a fan of you, but I understand what you're going through. And that's tough. And, like, this whole town who goes through, it seems like a lot of deaths, you know? And having this be, like, the one, because she was the interim mayor, being like, we're putting on the bells and whistles for this. And it's like, oh my God, I can't. Like, I cannot do this right now.
It's also, like, Tyler's lost both of his parents in a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
Sucks. That's not great.
Right.
Even though his dad was an asshole. Like, I don't miss his dad, but that's still really traumatic on someone to deal with.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's really fucked on Carol's legacy, though, that the log line they're telling the public is that she was so plastered that she fell into the fountain and died.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
What? I did not interpret Tyler believing that Klaus was involved at all.
Yeah, right.
Like, he seems to think that too. And I don't know that Caroline wanted to start talking about the fact that she thinks Klaus was involved. So I was like, what the fuck? Why is no one assuming that all of these deaths are with the bad guy? Like, why would just Tyler?
In a town that seems to be rampaged with supernatural creatures. And I know that, you know, the police and the larger powers that be of the adults in this town haven't really been having their foot on the gas about that in a minute. So I understand they're like, this is just a wild thing that happened. It was an accident. She was so wasted. But it's like, and listen, we'll talk about April, but I do appreciate her being like, I want these bitches to start telling the truth, okay? Like, I want y'all to step your fucking pussies up and be like, there's monsters here, because y'all knew that, and now you're just not, that's not like a viable excuse for what is going on here. Curious, right? Like, own it, you know? Y'all don't have a good control of this, clearly, right? Like, be so for real.
Speaking of adults, for a second, I know, and we talked about this last week, right? I know that Liz can't be interim mayor because that's double. You can't be sheriff and mayor. This isn't a 5-person town, right?
Yeah, it's double jeopardy in small town politics.
Right, and also like designated survivor shit like that, right? I don't know that that's real with town. Whatever. It makes sense in my brain. But what do you mean that the person, they've called 6 people, right, on Liz's fucking Rolodex. The 7th person that she called was Bonnie's dad?
Yeah, what? Hello?
First of all, who were the first 6?
Yeah, I want to see that list. Pronto. I
need that list immediately. Second of all, Bonnie's dad said yes?
Yeah.
Barack Obama said no? Rudy Hopkins, funny name.
Yeah, oh my god.
The thing that is important to know, right, and this isn't surprising because it's CW. This man, I know him from Supernatural because, of course, he plays in Supernatural. He plays an alpha vampire, right? He plays like an original vampire. He plays essentially one of the Michelsons in Supernatural. So to see him immediately rock up, I was like, get out. Yeah, everyone clear the room.
I don't trust you.
And to find out that he was Bonnie's dad?
Yeah.
What a hot family, can I say?
Yeah, first of all, hello. And, like, it sucked so hard hearing Bonnie's POV of that when she's with Sean and being like, this guy always said, like, the witch stuff and the magic stuff was cursed and bullshit and, like, not good, and always put, like, the women down for that. And, like, now he wants to, like, be in my life again, like, and thinks that's really cool that I have that. Like, what the fuck? Like, ugh. Bonnie can't catch a break.
Her saying that specifically of the cursed, and then what she does later on.
Yes. Ugh.
Killed me. Yep. Killed me. I'm so fucking over Sean. By the way, I
can someone kill him, please? I'm so sick.
Can someone kill him and it work, please?
We were so close today.
His name. I keep wanting to call him Shane. Sean. Yeah. His name is Shane. It kills me because, like, it's frustrating because as an actor, he's really pretty, and so I like him being on screen.
Sure.
But he's so manipulative. And that conversation, to your point, that conversation where Bonnie is venting to him, I'm just like, Bonnie, he's not your friend. He's trying to use you. And when he tells her that she's graduated and he gives her human bone,
Sir, arrest this
man.
Do
you have this is a crime.
Why do you have this?
Why is this in a velvet box? What else do you have?
And the timing of him being like, she is in a place of so many emotions. They're running really high. And she's like, I need some support. And she's being like, do you have some sort of, like, other calming spell you haven't told me about? Like, it's really sad and sweet of being like, you can help me, right? Like, I can just, like, we've been doing this for a long time. And he immediately is like, actually, I hate to break it to you, but you don't need me anymore. You're girl bossing too close to the sun. You got this, girl. Fly free with my human bones that I have in my desk. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, fuck him, but also, like, give her a hug? I don't know. Like, just add something, right? Like, what the fuck?
If he'd have touched her, I would have climbed through my television.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, the reverse, reverse, you have 7 days, and I would have killed that man. It's just, why is he involved in fucking everything? Like, I'm done. Also, I don't know what happened in the maybe, 2 months in universe, but Cole needs to get his hair cut so bad.
Oh my god.
It's actually disgusting.
It's really unfortunate.
The fact that these vampires are allowed, their hair is allowed to keep growing, feels criminal to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'll say about Shane is he does the classic villain thing where right before Rebekah and Cole kill him, he says all of his evil plans out loud. Of like, oh, well, before I got to the hybrids, I sacrificed all of these other people. Yeah. It's like, my guy.
Okay. So... Thanks.
He was like, this wasn't even involved. This wasn't even involved in Silas's thing. I just wanted to kill these people. I was like, Shane.
Yeah.
Stop. I hate
just
this man.
Also the way they were just straight up waterboarding this man. And then, poor April got tied up in the space-time continuum or whatever, and then was also drowning in the physical space. Was nasty work.
It was so scary. It was so scary. I know we're not supposed to like April now, right? Yeah. That she's under Rebekah's spell. She's her little latchkey now.
Yeah.
Like, she is Rebekah's lackey, but she's making some points.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with some of her points, that people need to stop lying and start speaking their truth.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's wrong. She's been lied to a lot. I think that it was a fair question for her to ask Lena, how many times have you compelled me?
Yeah, right. And I love, too, that she's like, well, Rebekah says you lie, so don't lie to me. Like, her navigating this whole thing is very fun, because she's very much out of her depths, right? Yeah. But she does know that there's, shady shit going on. And Rebekah's not the most reliable of narrators, but it is fun of them kind of coming together and being like, we're here to find the truth. Like, I'm going to help you find the truth, and you got to tell these losers, what's going on, is very fun to me.
It's so good. I think that even if April ends up turning bad, it was not... Well, one, it wasn't Bonnie's intention anyways, but I also don't think that it was good that the spell got turned on April.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair for someone to be drowning when they're just standing in a science classroom. That's scary and weird.
Yeah.
And not fair. But Bonnie even tells Shane at the end, she's like, why the fuck would you think that I want to do dark magic? And Shane's like, well, actually, this isn't dark magic. It's like, what the fuck? She's holding a human bone. How could you think that this isn't dark magic, my guy?
It seems a little, I don't know. It doesn't seem like, light magic.
Nope.
It doesn't seem like
certainly
cool,
not
calm, fun magic.
Certainly not, sir. I think, what did they call it? They called it like essence, evanescence, right? It's not. You can call it whatever you want, my guy. It's not. It's dark magic.
Yeah.
Sir.
Sorry.
You can call it whatever fun name you want, but it's not. It's not the magic that she wants to be practicing here.
Yeah.
And I'm upset about it, and I'm pissed. I am curious to know your thoughts on Rebekah invoking the Truth Circle with Elena and Stefan.
God. First of all, queen shit, right? She's like, I love to, because she has like everyone in this classroom being like, hey bitches, like, you're gonna tell me what the fuck's going on. Why haven't you found the cure? And they're like, so there's been a breakup. There's been something going on here. And Caroline is like, this is not useful information. Why are we still talking about Elena and Stefan? I'm over it. Like, I hate this. And Rebekah's like, actually, let me press a little bit harder. She talks to Stefan, and Stefan's like, well, now I know about she slept with Damon, and that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. So that's done for me. And she's like, okay, Elena, how do you feel? And the way she talks about Stefan of being like, it feels like I'm a project or a problem to be fixed, and that every time he looks at me, he just sees like a broken toy. Which is such a good encapsulation of the relationship, right? And this is even true of when we were talking when Elena was first turned, right? Of this was this guilt and shame that he was carrying of being like, oh my god, I ruined her, it's over, and like I don't even like her that much anymore because she's different, and maybe this is who she is, but like it's different than it was, right? Yeah. And Stefan's always trying to fucking fix somebody, right? Before he fixes himself. So and it's just like such a interesting, and having that compared to, she still has love for him, but like is not quote unquote in love with him anymore. And with Damon, it feels like there is something new there, and it doesn't feel like I am wrong for being who I am. And like this whole thing of the cure, right? Because everyone wants it for different reasons, and now we're kind of coalesced at a point where both Stefan and Damon want it for the same reason now, in a way.
But are they the right reasons?
Right. Are they the right reasons? Is it just to see if you can win and be the winner of Elena as the prize, right? Which is not the greatest way to go about doing all this that we're doing.
Right.
But hey, brother shit, right? Competitive brother shit.
This scene reminded me so much of 2010, 2011 MTV. There was that show where they were trying to stop bullying in high schools.
Oh,
so they
sure.
would go around.
Yeah.
Do you remember what show I'm talking about, where they would try to do this like honesty workshop?
Yeah. I forget what it was called.
Me too, but it was like, they do that activity where you'd have to like take a step forward if something was happening to you. That is what this like truth circle reminded me of. And it was so nasty because Rebekah's like obviously compelling Elena in this moment. So she's not, very similarly to the sire bond, right? She's everything that she's saying and doing is true, but she's not doing it out of her own free will in this moment.
Right. Yeah.
So this stuff is obviously like hurting Stefan in this moment, and it's hurting Elena that she's having to say it, even though it is accurate and it is the truth.
Right. it's still coming out of not of agency from her.
Correct. Yeah, so when they do end up having that tiff in the science classroom, and he's like, wah. It's like, listen, she didn't have an opportunity to say no here, dude. So that was something that annoyed me, because I don't know that she would have told Stefan in that moment. But obviously this shit had to come out. Like, she had to find out that Stefan knew about her and Damon having sex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is important. And it wasn't wrong. I think it's important for Stefan to know that he's not looking at her like a person. I think the broken toy moment was really accurate. The part that I thought was also interesting was that it really led to Stefan and Rebekah again coming back and being like forced allies at the end.
Love.
So like
Love.
We both are in bad moments with our brothers. But at the start of the episode, Damon kept listening to Elena's voicemails, but not responding to them. Because he's still at the all boys fight camp.
I want a full episode of the Vampire Boot Camp, Vampire Hunter Boot Camp. I love it so much. The fact that they're just like pissing Damon off and ordering a bunch of pizzas. And he's like, you motherfuckers.
Everything to me.
It's so good.
The fact that Damon is obviously, he can leave whenever he wants, but he's choosing to stay there and making them do laps around this lake and stuff. Yeah. And Matt's there.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, sure. Why not?
I guess
throw him in.
Emotional support for Jeremy. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's so entertained by it.
Yeah.
The fact that Damon even like pays off the pizza girl and is like, don't come back.
Yeah. No matter how many pepperoni pizzas they order, please do not try to come back. I swear.
I did get a little emotional when he shot Klaus for Carol. Because we know Damon had a soft spot for Carol. Klaus was in a particular mood this episode. Because he's obviously impatient, wanting Jeremy to get on with it. And so him turning the pizza girl was a choice.
Yeah.
But then doing it to the whole bar at the end?
Yeah.
Dude.
And, like, it's so interesting of that switch, right? Of Damon being like, I'm just going to be as far away as possible. I'm going to help Jeremy. Matt's also here eating pizza. We're going to just fight. And, like, and having, and being like, I'm going to do this the right way. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be annoying and slow, but, like, fuck it. We're going to try. And I'm not going to, like, go Ripper mode with these guys, you know?
Yeah.
And having that, situation with Klaus of being like, brother, I need this cure ASAP, and I think you need it too. And then having that phone conversation finally with Elena of being like, my priorities have now shifted because now I need to get the cure for you, and I gotta expedite this process in the Klaus way, even though I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna make your brother do things you don't like, and it's gonna be bad, but you know, for love or whatever, like, we'll do it, is such a,
That part made me want to go sit on train tracks, because Elena has this moment of clarity, not to get all Zed on it, but realizes after saying all this stuff to Rebekah that, like, oh shit, I actually am in love with Damon. And that wasn't the sire bond. And so finally calls him and is like, I love you. This motherfucker does not say it back.
Yep.
But does it in his actions, right? Of like, I'm going to stay with your brother and I'm going to get this cure for you, right? Which is essentially his version.
Yeah.
Then he tells her to come see him, like drive to me. And then he smiles at the sky, and I just wanted to sink to my knees and pass away in that moment. The other thing that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Elena and Stefan earlier, Stefan saying that he wanted Rebekah to compel him to forget everything.
Oh my god. That moment was so good. Because Rebekah is not here to play anyone's fucking games anymore, okay?
She'd have done it, too. Her.
Yeah, and she was like, listen, bitch, like, I'm not gonna make it easy for you, okay?
Right.
You get to live with this eternal pain and misery for the rest of your God-given life. And that's my gift to you, because I'm not gonna, like, wash away your memories of Elena so you can, like, live happy and not knowing her. Like, fuck you, bitch. You get to sit in this. You get to stew in this, and it's my sweetest revenge. Like, go fuck yourself. Ugh.
It just, to me, that showed a lot of how Stefan has not grown.
Yeah.
Because he still wants
the easy way out.
He wants the easy way out, and that's also very Ripper of him, of, like, all or nothing.
Yep. Yeah, very binary, for sure.
Stefan.
Yeah.
I need you to grow, please. And I listen, have I also wanted to be eternal sunshine in my life? Yes, of course.
Sure.
But other people around you are trying to grow and change, and we want that for you as well. It's such a bummer. I am very nervous about what... It's not going to be good for Jeremy. It has not been good that he has died as many times as he has. It's also not going to be as good on his psyche if he is killing people, too. And I don't know that training... I mean, sure, that means that he might not... I just am... I'm worried about my boy.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm worried about my boy, and history has not shown good things, especially with the originals, like we saw this episode with Rebekah compelling Tyler to turn. I'm concerned about what is going to happen, that he'll only have a temporary use for them.
Yeah.
And that makes me scared.
God.
I'm nervous, okay?
I'm getting nervy. I'm getting a little nervy.
I would be remiss, by the way, to not ask you your thoughts about Rebekah and Elena this episode. Her snapping her neck.
Yeah. They need a kiss already. I'm fucking over it.
I'm so done. They need to just get it over with.
Yeah. Just to see, you know? Just to see if anything lights up in you.
You gotta be curious at this point, right?
Come on.
It's just... She's technically single.
Right. Hello.
So, I mean... Don't you want to know a little bit, Rebekah?
You a little curious? Come on.
In between, you know, like making people tell the truth and compelling Tyler to turn and then cry in front of his mom's vigil, like, you've got time for this.
Yeah.
You can just kiss a little. See what's going on. I will say this episode did make me crave pizza, and that's sick and twisted. That's not nice.
Yeah. That's not nice. Come on.
That's not nice of them to do. I'm curious about next episode. Mainly because the fact that Rebekah does know that Shane is still alive.
Yep.
And he, from the still that we have from Catch Me If You Can, he does seem to be doing some sort of magic with Bonnie.
Gosh.
And I'm not okay with that. Because why is his shirt unbuttoned? Why is he doing spells? I'm not okay with it.
I don't like this.
I don't like it. I'm not no. I'm scared. I'm scared, folks.
I'm scared.
You know what I'm not scared by, though, is our amazing patrons.
Ah, yes.
Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Greg Lautner.
Ooh, thank you to April Dobrev.
Ooh, thank you to Kristen Stewart.
Ooh, thank you to Calissa Lockwood.
Pew, pew. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Oh, Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. Thank you to Emily O'Zara.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivishkov.
Pew, pew, pew.
I have a fan fiction for you. This is by the author Maddie X. Hatter, and it is titled Not Overdramatic, and then in parentheses, I Get What I Want. This was published today, March 30th of 2025.
Okay.
And the summary says, don't get mad, get even.
Okay.
It is important for you to know the author's notes here say, in all undercase. Okay, so I imagine this falls somewhere in an AU of season 3, where the Salvatores never undaggered Michael. Klaus has both Elijah and Rebekah undaggered. This doesn't match up with the plot of the show, even a little bit, but don't worry about it. Smiley face.
Love.
And there are no chapters, so this is all in one. But Rebekah had been different. She had seen Elena and understood her. They had fought and bickered. Things had sparked until fury and passion had merged and become something bigger and better, and now she was breaking her heart just the same, thanks to the oath she could never quite forsake. The explanation hadn't stuck in Elena's mind. Something about Klaus and hybrids and witches, but Rebekah's parting words were seared into her conscience, and now they were replaying on an endless loop. Always and forever, goodbye. Her first instinct was to remain frozen in the forest and shut down. If the books on Caroline's shelf were to be trusted, that was the expected response for a human teenager who had just been abandoned by their vampire lover. End scene.
Oh, God.
Can you just imagine? Can you just...
What a world we would live in.
Just think about it for a second. It would just be a lot of straight hair and emotional quips, and I would just like to see it. That's all. I think that it would be worth exploring. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, friends, you have some amazing recommendations here. I have a new show on Netflix to watch. You also have, when this comes out, a bonus episode to enjoy that I'm very excited for you on. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.